Good morning to all of you, and for a handful of you, it's a good evening. So, welcome to this talk, so College to Corporate, and this is Upendra Roy, and the whole aim for this talk is to help the graduates who wants to build their career in core IT. And one thing just I want to mention here, whenever I'm speaking the graduates, it's not only the BTech graduate in computer science and a specific domain. When I'm speaking the graduates, that graduates may be even arts and commerce graduates also. Okay, so because there are a lot of myth in the universe or our nearby saying that only BTech in computer science will able to build their career in core IT. So this is not the case. Okay, so especially I'm welcoming all the students, graduates who just started their career or maybe struggling to find out what should I do out of n number of technology. If I will choose one, so that one of the best. So which one is the best? Because somewhere we will go, somebody is saying, okay, go for data science. Somebody, it's a cloud. Somebody, maybe the cybersecurity. So all three are good. Suppose somebody wants, okay, I want to build my career in data science. But if the data science is there, again, data science is not small part, right? From where to begin? And to give us more closer or to give us more proper guidance, we are having one of our guests. And before introducing his name, he is having long list in the field of innovation and innovation in the field of mainly that data science related things. Okay, so basically in the short introduction, if we'll go with him, so he is mainly he is a technology innovation leader. He is Forbes member, executive advisor, and he is just pursuing Ph.D. and again in AI, ML, these things. He is entrepreneur and the most important part, he is an industry speaker. So before delaying a second, just let me introduce Mr. Murali, and he is going to give us a little bit advice about the whole name. Again, I can reiterate, saying that yes, graduates how to build their career into that particular specific domain. And domain we are going to focus today is related to data science. So welcome Murali, and yes, sir. So welcome to the show, and it's really glad to just host you in the show, and it's my pleasure to have you in this. And lots of graduate students are waiting for your little advice. So just to start with, I would like to have your little introduction from your end.
Hey Upendra, thank you for having me. I appreciate you inviting me to this session. At the outset, I would like to thank you for conducting this kind of sessions for the benefit of so many students out there. So it's really great intent from your side, and then the amount of time you're spending on this. So really appreciate it, and thank you for having me on this. Thank you for such a glorified background information that you provided on me. But in any case, I'm going to give a quick introduction to myself. I call myself more of a technology problem solver. Even though I have so many designations, for lack of a better word, at the end of the day, what I do is problem solving, right? I'm a technology problem solver. My career began when I completed my graduation, post-graduation master's degree in mechanical engineering, with a lot more focus on computational, engineering analysis and whatnot. So I was actually developing computer science for mechanical engineering, meaning developing all the computational solutions for engineering analysis and whatnot. So that is where my career began. But over time, definitely transitioned into more of a leadership role. And now I play more of a leadership role and help many different companies solve bigger problems. When I say bigger problems, something like Internet of Things, smart cities, smart hospitals, right? And then also provide new capabilities in the form of AI, machine learning, data science, things like that actually. And then my current focus as far as Ph.D. is concerned is also in data science. Specifically, I am focusing on solving one major problem in healthcare called personalized medicine or precision medicine. And that is where my focus is, and I'm trying to leverage as much as possible data, which is the new currency in the world, and trying to leverage it in solving those problems in the context of healthcare. So that's my kind of brief intro. I can get into more details, but I know that
Thank you. Thank you, Murali. Yeah. So what I would like to just say to start with, because see, we are focusing on the graduates and keeping in mind this current situation, right? So they're puzzled what to do. So before starting to that point, I would like to just give you a little bit the story part of your struggle. How you, because the same phase you have gone through. After graduation, definitely it's not easy to just get the job, whatever you feel like that. So what exactly the phase you have went through and you achieve whatever you are. So that, if you can share, it will be great, really great share to our students or graduates.
That's a great point, Upendra, actually. Definitely, I face a lot of challenges, and when I want to call it as a struggle, I have my own definition, right? It's my own opinion. The struggle is because I was struggling with myself. It's not something that was induced by someone else, right? But definitely there was a challenge, right? So, for example, when I graduated from Masters at University of Dayton, Ohio, I was looking for jobs back in the day, right? As a computational engineer, computational design engineer. But then, that was a transition to do, right? From a studentship to getting into employment. Was a transition to do, right? It's a challenge by itself. Now, there is no silver bullet to help you with that transition. You have to recognize the challenge and think about how to address it, right? So one thing I did is that I prepared a resume, right? As you can imagine, I was preparing my own bio resume, and that was my first attempt to know myself, right? Who I am, right? Who I want to be and what I know, right? So I put that in a resume format, and then I started applying for jobs back in the day. But unfortunately, I was not getting any calls. Nobody was calling to give an interview, right? So what I did is that I went back to my advisor in the school and then I showed him my resume and I asked him what's wrong with this. One thing he pointed out is that I am emphasizing too much on what I know. For example, I was emphasizing that I know C programming. I was emphasizing that I know C++ programming, right? All kinds of other technical frameworks that I was working with. So he suggested that definitely it is a good thing to showcase what you know, but then you have to put yourself in the shoes of a recruiting manager or the manager that is trying to recruit you, right? He said that if you put yourself in the shoes of that recruiter, whoever it is, think about what he is looking at when he sees your resume. So that was a good pointer, right? And then he suggested that when a manager looks at your resume, he is not only looking at your skill set in terms of what you know, but at the same time he is also looking at what you can bring to the table. What kind of value you bring to the table, right? So definitely that was a very thought-provoking thing for me because I was a fresh graduate and I did not know how to actually present myself. So essentially that was a great turning point. And then from time to time, when I started my journey as a project engineer at Caterpillar, which was a major corporate in terms of heavy machinery development from a mechanical engineering point of view, I slowly transitioned into commercial software development. That was a big deal for me. Again, there was a challenge, right? How can I transition from an engineering background to commercial software development. Again, there was a struggle, and then I had to learn it in a hard way, and essentially determine that what matters most is shaping the success in terms of what exactly I want to achieve, right? So that is a big challenge for me, and then essentially I was fighting myself, right? It's not that somebody induced on me.
Okay. So yeah, it's a really great point. So what I conclude here is to start with, don't put too much focus or focus on one or maybe two, right? Is it the main message I can just take from this?
Exactly. So focus on defining who you are, right? Focus on what you bring to the table, apart from all the skill set, right? So for example, if you worked on a project, it could be an academic project, right? For example, you can define what you did, what was your role in there, what technology you used, and in what context, and how you addressed a certain problem, right? So that was one of the key pointers that I learned from my advisor back in the day.
Okay, so yeah, that is really very valid point. And now, so coming back to related to that only, and keeping in mind that data science and related AI and whatever. So if right now, keeping in mind whatever the current scenario, and if you would like to give advice to the graduates who are just about to pass out or just passed out and just searching, so what one or two advice you will like to give them? So where to start? Because they're totally confused, right? Means what should I do? This, that. So any one or two. I know it's a very tough question, but there are so many options. So as per you, just a few suggestions to them.
No, that's a very great question, at the same time very tricky question, Upendra. So as you know, from a human psychology point of view, truly nobody likes prescriptions, right? I mean, you cannot prescribe something to someone and expect that they will go with it, right? So there is this there is a kind of a historical battle that happens between prescription and subscription. The difference is only 3 letters. But then if you subscribe to some idea, you will put a lot more focus, lot more energy, lot more kind of effort in there, right? So definitely, so I'll try to narrate a story, but I won't necessarily prescribe that to anyone, right? I mean, they can take the gist of it for sure. But at the current moment, at the current time, the emphasis is on data, right? Look around. You are already using this internet as a means of communication right now, right? You probably are using so many different devices, right? Your mobile phone, your different tablet, iPad, and things like that. And at the same time, there is a lot of new devices coming around. You may be wearing a Fitbit, some kind of sports related, Fitbit or iWatch or something like that. Right? There's so many devices coming up. Now the core point is that they all generate data, and someone has to take advantage of the data to provide a service, right? Intelligence. So definitely there's a lot more emphasis on data right now, and if you are in the field of computer science, my suggestion is focus on what kind of algorithms that can be leveraged to extract intelligence out of data, right? So if you are focusing on predictive analytics, for example, there are so many machine learning algorithms. And then if you are looking at all this Internet of Things, there's so many artificial intelligence type of algorithms, right? There's so many other, optimizations that happen, actually, complex optimizations, minimization problems, maximization problems, right? Everything is driven out of data. So definitely I would suggest that if somebody is keen on getting to that point, for sure, take a look at what is happening around you and what kind of new developments are happening, particularly in the context of computer science, if you are into that field. Now, if you are not in computer science, let us say you are in electrical engineering, for example, there's a lot of revolution happening in terms of new electrical gadgets coming into play because of the emergence of this Internet of Things and all these other smart solutions. There's a lot of focus on developing new devices. It's all driven out of electrical, electronics, communication technologies, right? So you can take a look at that area too. For example, sensors. There's so many new sensors coming up every day. That's all evolving because of the advancements in the electrical engineering and electronics, right? So that area is another area where somebody can really focus on. But if you are a general programmer, if you're looking at general purpose programming, definitely look at things like DevOps, right? If you know what I'm talking about, DevOps, there is data ops, there is AI, ML ops, things like that, right? So those are high value fields right now to get into for sure. But one thing I would suggest as a generic thing, Upendra, is that as a aspirant, as an aspiring professional, you have to define your success factor. So when I say what I mean by that one is that you need to focus on, you need to define what you want to be, right? That is the starting point. Because without that, you will have random paths showing up to you. Like you said, there is data science, there is data engineering, there is another field that is attractive. So you will see so many horizons at the same time.
True.
And when you see so many horizons at the same time, that itself is a highly complex scenario to comprehend, right? You need to see only one horizon, then you will comprehend it better, right? So that's my kind of advice to some of these students. Focus on yourself, focus on one concrete goal, whether you want to be going into a data science field or want to be a doctor, want to be some sports person, right? That kind of shaping the future is so important actually. Then once you shape it, once you know what it is, then you can plan for it, right? You have to lay the plan. Like if you're trying to build a big complex, you don't build a big complex in one day, right? You actually plan. You have to create the architecture for that. You create the layout and then start from the foundation and put a solid foundation so that your building can sustain the structure over time, right? So a similar approach has to be taken when you aim for something going forward. And the other thing is, one important thing is that when you embark on your journey, identify yourself. When I say be yourself, be your own individual, right? I have seen many people comparing themselves to, let us say, Sachin Tendulkar, right? Or Virat Kohli, or P.T. Usha, or P.V. Sindhu, right? For example, they want to be like that, which is good. You should always have idols to get inspiration from, but you have to understand that they have their own identity. So you have to build your own identity too, like individual, right? And when you set a goal, you have to target it in a way that you can accomplish it with a minimal dependency on anyone else, right? It's like being proactive and then getting your task done by yourself, right? As much as possible. So those are the things that I would highlight here. One last thing, Upendra. When you set a target, you have to go for it, right? You cannot fear failure. One important thing: don't fear failure, right? You can fail, always fail. Actually, if you have to fail, you fail. But then you learn from that failure, then do the course correction. But then you still go forward to accomplish what you started your journey for, right? You cannot give up in the middle of the way. And this is not something I'm saying, right? This is something our saints mentioned in our historical, things actually. Like for example, Bhartrhari, right, is a great saint, and he said that there are three types of people. One who will look at a target, they fear that they will fail, so they won't even start. Type 2, who actually begin the journey, but in the middle of the journey they face difficulties and they give up, right? The type 3, they face challenges, they face struggles, but they will always continue to proceed with adjustments, right? They course correct, they learn from their failures, but then they never give up, right? So be type 3, as what Bhartrhari said in his Bhartrhari Subhashitani, right? So be like that.
Yeah, that is really great, insightful explanation, Murali. And if I'll take one takeaway, that is whatever. So definitely, you set a goal. We all know. But if you are failing, normally what happens, because I also used to interact with a lot of guys, students, or just they started their career, they're not satisfied with that. But the main common thing, pattern, what I have just seen is just we are setting a target, even tried not a complete full one cycle, we are just gone. So what message what I got from you, yes, you set the goal, try to achieve it. If you are failing, fail forward, don't back. So that is the one message for all of the graduates who are just to set the target. Just don't quit easily, and you are going to achieve it as per whatever exposure or experience what Murali shared with us. Now, coming back to just conclusion, we got a lot of at least different small chunk, but in suppose I'm a graduate, just passed out, and I'm having interest in data science. Okay, so who will guide me? Because there are so many information and we got stuck. So where to start with? At least one step. If we go one step ahead, we will be getting a lot of, because you use a lot of terminology based on your exposure experience. But as a fresher, if I'll put myself in that area, we are just knowing that terminology. So how to just deal with that? Would you like to suggest just take one topic, do some research, or how to proceed? Yeah.
That's a great question, Upendra, actually. That happens normally, right? You transition to from one field to the other field because it is more attractive, and then you start facing these kind of challenges. But my suggestion is that, or at least the way I challenge myself to overcome such issues is that before transitioning into a new field, I will do my due diligence, right? Meaning I will do my research, try to understand what that area is. I will start incrementally, right? I will take courses online. There are so many courses online right now. Coursera, for example, offers elementary data science to advanced data science. So I would suggest to such individuals not to jump to advanced data science on day one. If they really want to be successful, I think one of the important things is definitely refer to such classes online. Start incrementally, one step at a time, right? There is this notion of as we all were babies at some point, right? We were crawling that time. We never ran the day we were born, right? Did you, Upendra? Did you run the day you were born? I don't think so. So there is the crawl, walk, and run concept, right? The same thing applies when it comes to transitioning into a new field. So you need to do your research. You crawl a little bit. When I say you crawl a little bit, you try to see what that field is. You explore it a little bit. You take classes. You get some subject matter expertise in that area. Then you start solving problems in that area, right? When you start solving problems, you will face situations just like the way you described, where you need to advance your knowledge, right? Then again, you refer to courses online or books at that point. Seek advice if you cannot find right course or right material. You can always contact some subject matter expert at that point. You can say that I'm stuck in this machine learning problem. I'm unable to move forward. My model is not generating accurate results. What do you think about this problem? Where am I doing some mistakes? Where am I going wrong? Right? So you seek that kind of advice from subject matter experts. But at the same time, you also improve your knowledge too by taking classes online or referring to new advanced material on the subject, right? So that is how I kind of navigated through such issues whenever I faced that in my own career path. But certainly taking advice is more important. Don't be shy, right? There's nothing like nobody will take it in a wrong way if you ask help from someone. Even if it is knowledge related, don't be shy, don't be bashful, right? You're consulting at the end of the day, and it's the right thing to do to consult and get right advice so that you can course correct your problem and make progress accordingly.
Okay, so that is a really great suggestion, and it's really insightful. Like, again, let me conclude. Two things is coming to the picture. Number one, just start with the basic. Whatever you are, don't try to just jump into the middle or top. So, number one advice, what we got from Murali is just start from the basic. Yes, that is okay. But the more meaningful thing is coming out here is if you are trying something and not getting out of it, don't stop and ask for advice. The question is where to get advice. So advice, what Murali, I will come with this question. So whenever we are talking about advice for the graduates, they are just struggling. So who will guide them, to whom they will go and ask for advice? And related that one question, what is the main role of social media in this context? So if you can give some, so ultimately, so that students, because they don't know where to go. So the social media may play a great role in this. So can you please help us or our students to what they should do, or the graduates, or maybe they are working, there are set of working professionals, they want to switch their career into that data science or that AI, ML, those kind of things. So what is the role of social media in this transition?
That's an excellent point you bring up, Upendra. Social media revolutionized the way we operate, right? For example, when was the last time we were working at United? That was almost 11 years, 10 years back, right? We were working together. Yes, but then what kept us in constant contact? It's social media, right?
True.
We were connected through LinkedIn and all that. We were keeping in touch. So we were making, we know what is going on in your career path versus my career path, right? You were keeping track of what I'm doing while I'm keeping track of what you were doing. So definitely such a network, building that network in social media is so critical. Particularly in channels like LinkedIn, right, which is more professionally oriented. So you can build your credibility there. As a matter of fact, once you start exploring, let us say LinkedIn, for example, you will find names, suggested names, recommended names, or through your friends' contact or through your other contacts, you'll come across people with different skill sets and whatnot. Right. So obviously you will find other people that are working on data science, for example. Right. Even if they are not experts, you know for sure that they are working in data science. So you kind of establish that network. And then when such situations come in, when you are facing a problem, I mean, if you are already connected to someone, definitely you can reach out to that someone to seek some help or suggestion. Right. I'm pretty sure on social media, with all this new technology out there, collaboration that happens instantaneously, right? The messaging and whatnot. Typically, you'll get responses, right? I mean, that's the whole point of LinkedIn. It's all about collaboration, right? Exchange of information, exchange of ideas, exchange of knowledge, right? New developments, whatsoever, right? So definitely, LinkedIn is a great channel to be in a network, and that could be one way of reaching out to subject matter experts. And as a matter of fact, Upendra, you may know this, there are so many groups out there. I mean, there is airline data science group, for example, right? Likewise, there is healthcare machine learning group. There are so many different groups already created in LinkedIn, for example, and you can seek to be a member of that groups, right? That way, that group is very much dedicated to a certain problem area. And when you encounter, let us say you are working on machine learning for healthcare, right? You now face some issue with data or some kind of machine learning issue, right? So you can reach out to that specific group which is already focusing on healthcare, and they will offer you, I'm pretty sure they will offer you, because I am part of certain groups and I respond whenever there are questions that come up. And I also post questions too. It's not that I am the expert. I also face challenges from time to time, right? So I do that all the time. It's a highly collaborative environment out there. So definitely that's a good way to collaborate with other experts in the field.
Wow, that is really great. So yes, for the graduates or whoever wants to just switch your career into this, yes, networking is one of the key. And as Murali explained, just reach out to the group. And this is applicable not only to data scientists, it is applicable to any technology. You name it, whatever latest, maybe cloud, maybe database, maybe cybersecurity. This is common to each and every area. So just one very great insightful. And yes, what I got, people like Murali is also helping. So there are a lot of like that group and community. You can connect and you will be getting help for sure. So thanks much Murali on that. Now, coming back.
Well, one thing, I want to add one more thing about social media, Upendra. It's a very important thing. See, you have, social media like LinkedIn, right? For example, it gives you a platform to build your own credibility. Like what you're doing, for example, right? You are conducting these sessions and you're building your name on LinkedIn, as a matter of fact. Now, everyone in your groups, everyone that are connected to you, know that you're leading this kind of initiative. So likewise, you can, anyone that is LinkedIn member, right? For example, I'm just highlighting LinkedIn. I'm not, I don't work for LinkedIn, so, but then I'm just giving that as an example. You can build your credibility. So publish articles, right? Publish your work, or just post something interesting. You can say that I applied XGBoost algorithm to solve this regression problem, right? You're not revealing everything, but you're posting it, and that gives credibility to you right away. So that is a way to build your own credibility on LinkedIn, and there will be recruiting managers out there that may be part of a group that you belong to, or other leaders out there. They will be monitoring your post. Now suddenly they know that Upendra is an expert in data science or an expert in machine learning, right? Mm-hmm. So if they have a job opening or something like that, they may directly message you. They may DM Upendra right away, saying that Upendra, will you be interested in this? Right? We have an offering for machine learning position. Will you be interested in this? Right? So that social media is revolutionary that way. This social media did not exist 15 years back or even 10 years back, as a matter of fact. This kind of social media. So now there is an option to market yourself as a credible person or professional in your own field. Okay. That I would like to suggest.
Yeah, that is really great. One of the main great area where we can showcase our whatever skills we have. So as Murali mentioned, that if somebody is watching, maybe senior management, maybe somebody they are looking for those skills, and there are high chance you are going to be just call for whatever, maybe job, maybe part-time, maybe full-time, whichever kind of thing. So yeah, that is a really great advice. And yes, few texts I got. Yes, if you guys need any advice, mainly in database cloud, that is the data science part, cybersecurity, definitely. My team, along with related to if you seek any help, you can just connect with Murali. You can just ping him. Definitely, he will be just happy to help you guys. So don't worry about that. So we are here to help you. Now, coming to the next question, and this is related to maybe what I heard about you on interest, your interest on the prototyping physical stuff. So can you please just help me understand what exactly, as you name it, suppose somebody is asking what is that prototyping is, that physical thing, and how you are just let's say enjoying this thing, and how you are just doing some innovation in these areas.
That's a good question, Upendra. So you know that I attend a lot of conferences, right? I speak at different conferences, and I am focusing on Internet of Things, right? So solutions for Internet of Things. So I do a lot of talking, right? I talk the talk. Right? Then, but at the heart, at the core of my heart, I'm an engineer. So in that context, I really want to make my hands dirty. Right? I want to build solutions. Whatever I preach, whatever I talk, I want to actually experience it myself. So, for example, I'm going to show this. Right? I'm a big fan of Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
This is the microcomputer. Right? This is actually a very, very powerful computer. I don't know if you can see this.
It's very
This is a mini computer, right? You can do a lot of magic with this, all right? And it's very cheap, actually, very cheap. This is a powerful computer that comes very cheap, and this is used in a lot of Internet of Things cases, right? So you might have you may be hearing smart cities, right? Smart traffic and all that. It's all driven by sensors and whatnot. And in that context, you may be hearing connected vehicles, right? So, for example, here is a prototype I'm working with.
Wow.
Okay, this is a car I'm building, and it has. If you look at here, it has that Raspberry Pi. Right? You can see it. It is Raspberry Pi, and it's a very powerful computer. It's 8 GB, 8 gigabytes of memory, and 64 gigabytes of storage disk.
Wow.
All right, and it has all this sensors connected and all that. So I'm trying to prototype connected vehicles so that the way connected vehicles can be used to manage traffic, right?
Okay.
So I'm trying to prototype that because it comes out of interest, right? When I go to the conferences, I do a lot of talking. I mean, talk the talk is one thing, but then walk the talk is so important thing, right? You have to walk the talk. You need to know what you're talking, right? And likewise, I'm building a big, huge cluster of Raspberry Pis. Right? This is for so-called IoT edge computing, and these are all computers actually. I mean, I'm holding a cluster of 11 computers, small mini microcomputers, and I'm actually building a edge computing platform. Right? Again, I don't have to do this, but like I said, I go to conferences, I do a lot of talking and all that. So I find kind of interest in doing it, right? So likewise, I'm not suggesting everyone needs to do this, but what I mean to say is that if you are passionate about something, explore it to the fullest extent as I was mentioning it before, right? I mean, you can buy a micro computer like this, you can get up to speed with what it can do for you, right? And then if you play with it, you can put it in your resume too, right? Saying that I used this Raspberry Pi to do this mini home project, and it kind of gives a lot more weightage when somebody looks at it, right? So, but in any case, I'm fond of building this kind of miniature prototypes of things like big magnitude solutions, but then I kind of miniaturize that using this kind of computers. So that's my
So you are doing a lot of research on this IoT and all those kinds.
I do.
Yeah. So just coming back to a few basic questions, because we are running a lot of questions coming. So I'll take at least one or two questions. But
sure.
Before that, let me just just go ahead with this. So as we all know, that book is one of the key elements for our self-development, and I'm referring to not only the technical book, the self-development book. So can you please help us to understand what is your thought on it, and which book basically you, or the moment you went through that book, the internal thought process started getting changed and got affected in positive way. So your personal advice on that area?
Oh, that's a again, a very good question, Upendra. Very interesting question, actually. There is one book, definitely, I love to share it with you. It's called Employee First and Customer Second. It's a great book written by Vineet Nair, who was the CEO of HCL. And this is for leadership, right? How you can kind of manage as a leader, and how you can bring value from your team right? That's one excellent book that I read actually, right? And a couple of books actually. I have one book right here. Let me show you this book out here.
Okay.
Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yeah,
This is an excellent book actually. I would recommend. This is a very generic book actually, right? This is a book on how you can be part of a team and be a team player and be successful together, right? It's a culture. Like as a group, you're building a culture together, right? So this book is another book. I fell in love with this, right? Can you see this? Yeah, that's one good book I would suggest, and maybe this book, Corporate Chanakya. This is actually written by Radhakrishnan Pillai, and this is actually a gist of what the Chanakya really said in his Arthashastra, right? This is for the modern leaders.
Okay.
All the gist is taken from Arthashastra from Chanakya, right? Great book actually. This is a very small one, but really good book to learn. But my general suggestion is that fall in love with books. Whenever you can find time, definitely books are great sources of information. I have a virtual library of thousands of books.
Wow.
What I got here is just a gist of physical books that are handy. But otherwise, I do have a lot of books virtually. Thousands of them in my virtual library. But I'm a big time book reader for sure.
Great. So yeah, that is really great. And yes, one of the main bottom line, we have to love books if you want to just go ahead in our career. So
Yes.
that is the main message I would like to give all the graduates or the fresher graduates who are just started their career or just about to start. So that is one of the key. Now a lot of guys just maybe you might be knowing one of the team member, our old team member, Satyajit. I want to show his message. He's thanking you for. Yeah, so you know,
Satyajit, I know Satyajit actually, yes. Yeah, Satyajit, this is a message to you. I am still Mavenizing. I still write Java code, but I still use Maven. I also use Gradle, as a matter of fact, if you know what I'm talking about. But definitely, Satyajit, again, a specific message to you. I'm a big fan of Eclipse IoT platform, which is all in Java. So if you want to get into IoT, that is a great platform to look at, Satyajit.
Okay, great. And one of the question, a little bit for middle or advanced career who are building maybe a little bit leadership role. And this question is again very much our own. I can just let me show you. So it's a me. Question. This is a question for you. So can you please just give advice in 2 to 3 minutes, okay? Because we are running out of time, so 2 to 3 minutes.
Meerbai, I can't answer your question actually. You already know the answer. I know he's just pulling my leg actually. So sorry to say that. But Meerbai, yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, so I'm just replacing that name from me to XYZ now advice. The question is not only for me, maybe on behalf of somebody asked, you just please put some your thought on it.
Definitely, that's a great question actually. Everything starts with a plan. Everything. So failing to plan is actually planning to fail. So think that way. So failing to plan is actually planning to fail. So you need to plan because you don't want to fail, right? And then definitely create a laundry list of things that you would like to accomplish as a leader, right? And then translate that into more of a plan. It's a grand plan, right? And then for accomplishing that plan, which is a grand plan, you need strategies. So you kind of create pathways in terms of how to accomplish that plan, right? So a good example again is you're building a three-story building. You won't build the third story, right away, right? You actually start incrementally, right? But you know you're building a three-story. But then along the way, you will face challenges. Of course, you need to course correct. You may have missed one extra column or pillar. So in order to boost the strength of that building, so you course correct it, earlier. But then you know that as an organization or as a owner of that initiative, you have a plan to build that a grand initiative, right? And then you take baby steps, right? Course correction and then baby steps and whatnot. So that definitely that approach is so important. Having that plan, translate that into a grand plan, put a timeline in that. It could be a 3-year plan, it could be a multi-year plan, 5-year plan. But then definitely go for it, right? Never give up. Never give up. Again, it's about course correcting and then accomplishing it. And my recommendation to organizational leaders like me is that the consensus across the organization is so important, right? I mean, every leader in an organization should have one line of visibility, and they all have to be on the same page when it comes to running a major plan like that, right? You cannot pull strings in different directions, right? I mean, that would utter failure. That would result in utter failure. So definitely, I mean, Murali is a great friend of mine, so he knows my answer. So, but again, I'm repeating for the benefit of others. But thank you, Murali, for asking that question.
Okay, great. Thanks, Murali, for taking this question. Though it was, yeah. So now the last, we are coming to close to our. So the last question, and this is my very own personal, because I am very much impacted with this in the positive way. So what is your thought on the importance of a mentor in your life, or what would you like to advise to maybe young entrepreneur or maybe the professionals who are just started their career? So role of mentor on your life and what your advice? This is the last question I want.
Oh, definitely, mentor plays a critical role, Upendra, in one's life for sure. And I do have many different mentors, right? Definitely based on different areas of my focus, I have a mentor. The greatest advantage is that you can use that mentor as a sounding board, right? Meaning, you want to get an opinion, right? One subject, expert opinion on a matter. You typically, consult a mentor just to get a feel from that mentor as to what you're trying to do is the right thing to do. So here is the most important thing, right? Whenever you take up something, there are two things to remember. One is how effective you're going to be and how efficient you're going to be, right? Effectiveness and efficiency. So doing the right thing is one thing, and doing the thing right is another thing. So in both cases, figuring out what to do is a major challenge, right? So you can consult a mentor. And once you figure out what to do, doing the right thing, right? Now do the thing right. In order to do the thing right, again, you have to consult mentor because they may provide you ideas, thoughts that you probably are missing or did not think about, right? So definitely, mentor plays a great role. And I always maintain at least 2 or 3 mentors in different areas. Even in my personal life, right? My wife is a mentor, right? I lose track of things on my personal side of things. So my wife is a mentor. She will guide me. So definitely, it's like a mentorship is natural, right? So you need to have that mentor. So definitely, I suggest having mentors in different areas for sure.
Wow, great. And it's really, at least I'm not sure about all the college graduates, fresher and just there. So I learned a lot of things today in this last 45-50 minute session, this Murali. So it's a really great feeling, great pleasure to be with us, all of us, all the college graduates and corporate who are just starting their career. So thank you very much for your time. I know your time it's very tough to extract some time from your busy schedule. So thanks very much for you and your time and helping us as a whole community to just going on the positive note as far as the career means the IT career is concerned. So thank you very much for.
Hi, thanks Upendra for having me. Thank you. Take care.
Okay, so yes, guys, that's we are ending. We're a little late, but yes, if you guys are feeling any ask means you thought of just taking any help from Murali, just you can ping him, or if you guys need any guidance, if you thought of any, you are stuck in somewhere, you can just ping me. I'll try to just help you guys, or I'll try to connect with the respective whoever is there in that line. So that's it for now, and see you on next week with one of the leader who can guide us to build our career in core IT. So that's it pretty much for today, and thanks for your time too. So see you on next week again. So bye bye for